And let me admit. So welcome everyone. I'm Jennifer Maxwell with the, now I'm with the Department for Mission Integration, and want to welcome today each one of you coming from all over the council, and I want to welcome our presenter today, Amanda Strickland. For those of you who may remember or may not remember or know, if you're new, Amanda was in the role of Director of Vincent Services for a number of years, 9, I think, to be exact, and is now with her third child and taking a step back, but certainly not away, because she's been a really great resource to me and is a wealth of information for Vincentians and all things Vincentian related. So we're excited to have her here today. We're excited that she's going to be kind of giving us the nuts and bolts on changes and updates and how we operate from a membership standpoint and record keeping. So I'll be running the chat. We're both going to be hosting it. And so if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat and I'll text Amanda and we'll kind of toggle back and forth. But Amanda, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you. Everyone, I have you on mute. So if you do have something to say, or if we call on you, just know that you'll need to unmute yourself.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen.
Welcome.
And hello, everybody. It's been a while, so I'm glad to be back. Thank you, Jennifer, for asking me to come back and present this with you. Kind of giving her the 411 on what's going on too at this time. We're still in the transition phase. So I'm not sure if some of this might be some of the stuff you guys already know, seeing some of the faces on here now, but you've probably been a CMS administrator. But we're going to start from the basics today and just kind of go through some of the new ways that CMS has updated and things like that. So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen and we'll get started. I will send this presentation out to you afterward as well, so that you have all the steps written out for you. So, and it's also being recorded. So if it moves too fast through the demo, don't worry. We'll get you taken care of after. So we're just going to cover some of the new membership management parts of the CMS administrator role today. There's a few things that you can do as a CMS administrator, but today we really just want to focus on membership roster, keeping why we need to do it, and then I added in a couple of other like user password reset, something that you might be asked to do as the CMS administrator. Your president probably also has access to do that though, but I'll go ahead and show you that today, and also uploading documentation, something that we noticed that we're not doing a lot of, but we have the capability to do it. So I wanted to just show you that today as well. But we're really going to talk about role management and how to assign roles and the new updates that CMS has with that. So like I said, part of your job as conference administrator is to manage the membership roster. You might have seen that we put in the title on the registration for this course that this was the former national database training that so I believe it was last year or the year before, we have a national St. Vincent de Paul database that we also have to keep up to date with our membership. We understand that it's just one more database for you all, usually the secretary in the conference or something that gets assigned with updating, and we tried to implement give you guys ownership on updating it, but we realize now it's probably just too cumbersome. It's another system to keep your membership roster in. Only a handful of conferences are actually keeping it up to date. And so when we come to annual reporting time, we're under reporting our membership numbers for sure. And so we kind of thought about how can we assist the conferences and actually making it easier, making sure all of our records are up to date nationally. And I think this is going to be a more helpful way, partnering with the council to do it again. So we're kind of taking it back, but we need your help and we just want to stress to make sure that your CMS roster now is up to date, because now the council will start pulling your roster from there at the end of each year and uploading it to the national database for you. So if you were updating the national database, thank you for trying. It's a big stretch to get all 73 conferences to do it. So we just thought, let's just have them do CMS only. and we will pull the reports from CMS every year and go ahead and get it into the national database. So as long as we have CMS good to go, we should be good. So we'll start with here. Yes, Jennifer?
Sorry to interrupt, but while you're talking about the need for the membership roster and annually how we use that for the report with national, I wanted to just also add that we will be using those membership lists to quarterly update the Archdiocese for your membership for Virtus training. So if you've all probably received the update about using Virtus in lieu of the safe environment we used to provide for Vincentians. It's come from the national office down through the Georgia Council, and we now have a board resolution as of July of last year that states that anyone involved in the ministry at any level for the safety of our neighbors in need, we are requiring and strongly suggesting the Virtus training. It happens at your parish. You coordinate with your safe environment coordinator at your parish. Any sort of subsequent need, concerns, conversations, updates, renewals, all happen with you, the individual Vincentian, and your safe environment coordinator, not St. Vincent de Paul. So our role will simply be to quarterly send the membership list to the Archdiocese.
Yeah, that'll be very helpful too. And in addition to that, we have proposed an enhancement to the membership portion of CMS to have another enhancement of being able to track our formation and training. So who's taken Ozanom, who's done, whatever leadership trainings that are required and things like that. I know 4.0 just rolled out. It was not included in that one, but it has been proposed and approved. We just don't have a timeline on it, I believe. So that'll be another short little webinar, and we can show you how to do that later on. But just know it's coming. That we really want to make CMS our one-stop shop to really track things and get away from the spreadsheet tracking and things like that manually. So we'll get there one day. So which members need to be put into CMS is a question we always get, especially if you are affiliated with the St. Vincent de Paul thrift store. So it's all members, whether they're active or associate. And if you're brand new and you don't know the difference between that, it's in the rule. If you go through Ozanom, you'll learn about what that means. But we really want all caseworkers, non-casework members, if they're just helping you do admin stuff, special projects, whatever it is, there is a way to just put them in as a conference member. You don't have to assign them a certain role. And then definitely food pantry workers, I think we're undercounting those. A lot of those are not in because I think a lot of times people only put the members in if they're thinking, oh, they need to use CMS, they need a user login. So we'll go ahead and put them in as a member. And then we forget about the ones that might not be using CMS for casework and things like that. They're not in there. So the thrift store workers, especially there. And I'm not talking about the community service volunteers at the thrift stores, just if they're working at the thrift store and they're calling themselves a Vincentian, you want to consider them a member and try to get them to your meetings eventually as well, part of your membership stewardship. Kim, did you have a question? I saw a hand.
Yeah, I was wondering, should we be adding money counters as members?
Yes, second collection counter, all of them are members.
Okay.
They are working with your conference at all.
Gotcha.
And you can just add them as a member, just so that we're counting correctly. They don't need the user login, and we'll go through those roles as well.
Okay.
And then, like I said, today we're focusing on just like the membership part of the admin role. But if you want to look at all of the other stuff, so there's, as an admin, you also manage just how your conference is set up in CMS. So if you guys add a zip code to your coverage area, you want to go into the zip code tab and make sure it's added in there into the system. There's a few other things that you do. We're not going to cover them all today, but the user guide is online under the user guide button on the conference administration one, and you can find all those other little things in there. We're just not going to cover them in detail today. So, like I said, we're starting at the basics. I know some of you probably know this already of where to go in CMS.
Amanda?
Yes.
This is Alice. So the people who go and work in the thrift store, which are a big part of what helps us with our donations, none of them have ever taken the formation training. So do we just supposed to list them as community volunteers?
Yeah, I would list them as a member, but I would also strongly encourage that you get them to a training, at least, once in their, and especially if they're offered virtually now too, a little bit. You can put them as an associate member.
That's where we have them listed now.
Okay.
Because we have probably 15 people that work at the thrift store on a regular basis, but our meetings are at night, so they never come to the night meetings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they would be considered associate,
Okay,
and that's fine.
okay, thank you.
Jennifer, and I don't know if you want to chime in on associate members requiring Ozanom for them. I'm a little blank there.
I believe that it is required for everyone who is a member, regardless of their status. The difference between active and associate is that active must be Catholic and you can hold office. So beyond those two kind of qualifiers, you're doing everything the same, more or less. You're attending meetings. Now, an associate member may not attend all of your meetings, but you do attend meetings, you do the special works, you're involved in outreach, you may or may not do home visits, but beyond just the Catholic and leadership part of active membership, the rest is the same. And the board resolution, I'm happy to send that Virtues resolution out. I sent it to all the district presidents, and I think that they cascaded it down to everyone just to kind of clarify. But when we say member, we're talking about, capital M member, your member, regardless of your status.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a little quick demo screen of where you go for those who just are not familiar with the system and the role management part at all. On this next slide here. So you're going to start by logging in. On your home screen, you're going to click My Conference, and the Roles tab is where you're going to do all of the membership management there. We're going to talk about, I'm going to show you how to add new members, delete members, and do all that in the new update. But I do want to point out that all members should have, let me go back to this screen. All members at minimum should have a conference member role. It's automatically checked off when you go to add a new member, so you don't forget to add that. So when we pull our roster of conference membership, we're not looking at it role-based. We are pulling the conference member role part. So at minimum, everybody needs that role. Additionally, if they don't have that role, they will not be their name will not be displayed in the secondary user dropdown. So if they're just starting out and they're a secondary, they're not a caseworker yet, you just want to make sure they're already in the system as a conference member so that they can be assigned as a secondary within the system. And then additionally, most new members are going to have other roles assigned to them, whether it's intake or casework or just even maybe a leadership role or something like that. And then just a reminder for you guys to remind anybody that you give CMS access to after you give them their access. If and you'll see it when we go through, you're not required to put their email in when you create their account. And so it's just, if you can remind them to go back in and keep their My Profile section updated. That's the place where the system uses to generate emails to them. So if they get a case assigned or check request approvals and things like that, if there's no email there, they're not going to get their notifications through email. So you just want to remind them to go in there and update it. And then also you might not have their address when you're inputting their initial information. So just encourage them to go in and at least update like phone number and contact information, because other members are going to use that to find them. And then I just put down here at the bottom, John Pepe did do an advanced topic video on role management. It's a little bit different than what we're presenting today, but it does go through some of the screens also. Feel free to refer to that as well if you'd like after today. All right, so now we're going to go into adding a new member. So you start out in that roles tab, you just click add member. And then you're going to type in their name. If they're new, they most likely should not pop up. Click search. And if they are not in the system, it's going to be a grayed out box. That means they're not in the system yet. So you just click on that and you start to build out their profile. I'm in a test system, so it doesn't matter what I put right now. I'm just going to put some bogus information. And as you can see, so there's a few required fields, but email is not. But if you wanted to start like having a form that you give new members to fill out, this is the information that you would want them to give you, that you can create their profile in full at the beginning. Then
Amanda,
Yes.
where do we get that form? Like when you started us up at St. Francis, we all filled out a form. Is that form online?
Yeah, we're not using that anymore. Again, like all conferences didn't use it. I mean, if you would like to use it as a paper guide for you, we do have a copy of it. I don't think it's posted online. It's not like a process anymore. That new, she's referring to a new member application that we tried to implement and have you guys send those applications over. And then we were sending welcome letters back to the person. But it is a good.
Just so at the meeting, I would be able to give that to them. I'd have all the information I need.
Yeah.
For.
We have the form we can share with you on the follow-up email to this.
Thank you.
And Kim, it's Nisha just recently put it onto the website as a resource. Yeah, it's just the follow-up piece Amanda mentioned we're no longer doing, but in terms of record keeping and having all of it captured on one sheet, that it's available for you there.
Where at?
I can send the link to you, Amanda, when you follow up, or we'll just
Yeah.
make sure in the follow-up email that we include the
Okay,
link.
thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so here's where you, if they're a new member, you have to create their username and password. The default that we use is first initial, last name for both. So that, and then right away you can send that to them and they can go in and change their password later. The next screen is where you select all of their appropriate roles. This is new to the system, somewhat of a newer update that we've had in the last year, is be able to kind of mass check what role they would need. And you'll see that conference member role was already selected for you, so you don't forget that either. And it says in progress and pending. It's pretty fast, so you can go ahead after you create their username, send them their credentials, and they can start to log in within minutes. It doesn't take like overnight or anything, even though it says pending status and things like that. All right, I know that was fast, but I do have on the handouts you have, I did list it out step by step for you, so you can refer back to this. This is anything in bold is like the button that you would click, and it really is just a nice little flow they have. All right, so sometimes you might have a member who is transferring, they've moved into your area from another parish where they were a member, or some conferences have dual members when they're close enough and the member wants to do casework at 2 parishes. So I just wanted to show you how to add somebody who already exists in the system. So you're going to start out at the roles tab again. And you go to add member, but this time when you type in their name, they're gonna be there. So you'll select which conference they're coming from. I'm just going to use Jennifer because I know she belongs to the Chamblee Family Support Center. When you search her, so the gray means if you wanted to create a new Jennifer Maxwell, but she exists there. So we click on the existing one, and then you just assign the appropriate roles for her there. And so this doesn't take her out of the other conference though. She just also, so when she goes in to do her casework, she'll go under my profile and select which conference she's working in that day or at that time. All right. Any questions yet on just assigning new members?
Would there ever be a chance of them adding a thrift store to one of the, I know we have pantry worker.
I'm sorry, say that again for thrift store.
You know, under roles, adding a thrift store to the
Oh,
roles. I mean, we have, so many people that work there, and I have them, the pantry one, but I don't have a thrift one to put people into.
right. That's a great question. I'm gonna jot that down and ask, maybe in that next enhancement, they can just add that in. I'm not sure how easy it is to add the roles in.
Right.
We don't have council access to do that, but we certainly could, that's a good
That would
idea.
be great. Thank you.
Yeah, just to tag them properly, right? Right.
New member application in the chat, a link.
Okay, thank you, Jen. Okay, so now we'll just go into removing members. Relatively easy process as well. So removing members, you start by which role you want to go into and remove a member from. So you click on the role and then you can mask. This is a newer update as well. We used to have to like delete each member separately. And so now you can just check mark. So maybe you want to go and clean up your database either at halfway through the year or at the end of the year. You can do this, relatively faster than you used to be able to do it. This does, when you remove, it does spin for a while. So I cut the demo off, but it will refresh and delete those that you take out.
Do you still have to remove them on every role? Like I know with the ones
Yeah.
I've removed, you had to go under every single role they had remove them.
You do, removal is by role, yes.
Yeah.
So, but the next demo shows you by member, you can, let me see, on this demo. This is
Question? Oh, because you're muted.
sorry, I can't see anybody now that I have the screen up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, you know what? I have people that, sorry, have died. And do I have to go in and find their roles and delete them role by role?
No,
Could you
so
repeat us?
this one I'll show you right now, should probably is the best way to do this, Jean.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So by member, is this one. You go into the members list, select the member you want to delete, and then you can delete all of their roles there. You just uncheck all of them and submit it. To delete so as long as you delete them off the conference member, like delete all those roles right there, they're not going to show up on your roster anymore. They still will be in the system. We don't have council access to like delete a user out of the system completely. We do have to email Aguilar to do that. But as long as you're deleting the role, that's okay.
Our lists are terribly long, and they're people that have long ago left or long ago passed away. So I don't even, that's why I'm on here. I need to clean it up, and I'm not sure I'm understanding. So if I delete them the way you just showed me,
Yes,
so I
that-
click on member and then I have to figure out what roles they had?
Well, you would, if they're no longer active at all, you just delete all of the roles once you click here.
Well, how about in Jean's case, if you have like an exhaustive list of maybe 20 plus people, why don't you just email me those names and I'll send them to Aguilar and ask him to permanently remove them from the system?
Yeah, we could do that if it's,
A lot of people.
Yeah, why don't you do that, Jean?
Okay.
I know, Jeannie, last year, I just went through my whole roster and called everybody and asked them if they were active and what they were doing when I took over. But then I had trouble when I went into the national database trying to, decide why they left.
oh yeah.
So I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to go into the national anymore, right?
No, and thank
Wonderful.
you, Alice, for giving
Well,
it a shot.
And the good news for me is I did the national database and I've kept that up to date. It's CMS that's my anchor.
Well, let's get you just focused on one then. So, okay, yeah, so email Jennifer, we'll get it cleaned up initially for you then. And hopefully, it's more manageable after that. You can go in this way though and delete, delete all the roles a little bit easier this way. This is new. You used to have to go into each role and delete the member from each role. So this is a better way to do it at least. Okay. Let's see. And then I'm sure some of you know that you can just print out your membership roster, but we'll just show you how to do that. You can print it and download it. So if you are going in to clean up the database, this is helpful to have printed out and just kind of mark out what you need to do, because it shows you all of the roles that you have, that each member is assigned. So no matter what tab you're on, that membership roster button stays static up there. You can always click on it and download it, view it. Right now it comes up as a PDF only. We have proposed with that membership enhancement to let it output a CSV file. That might be easier for you to manage in Excel. A lot of conference presidents like to share this. They print it out regularly for caseworkers to put in their binders or folders to have the contact information for other members easily there. So please just remember that you have it there to view in bulk. You can print it out. And like I said, it lists out if you are doing a cleaning up the house, which role everybody's assigned to, kind of to help you figure out your plan on cleaning it up. All right. User password reset. Has anyone had to do this? It was something that I forgot that we can do ourselves. And I think the support team gets tickets all the time on how to change passwords, but as an admin, you can actually do it for your users. Super easy to do. Once you're going to start on your home screen, you go to the search button and down to contact information and just type in the member that you are assisting. I'm going to do that new member that we just created. You just select it, and then you'll see the change password button. As long as you're an admin, you'll always see that change password button for your conference members. And you can just change it to whatever, let them know, and they can still go back in and update their own password after you've restored their access. And then the last one is uploading documentation. There are certain documents that it's not widely, I think, known or even just advertised that conference or CMS administrators are expected to upload. And those are the areas of meeting minutes, references, and record forms. So instead of keeping paper records of all your minutes, if you are still, you can upload them here, and that, that keeps that becomes your digital file system. You don't have to keep the paper copies. There's just certain records that you have to keep according to the treasurer's handbook and keeping our 501c3 status and things like that. So I wanted to take this. It's not related to membership so much, but it is an admin feature that I think a lot of presidents probably lean on the admin or conference secretary to do. And so I just wanted to take the opportunity to show you guys where to do that and how to do that.
Amanda, those other ones you had listed there, other than meeting minutes, the procedures and whatever, financial, I don't think we've ever uploaded anything like that.
Probably not.
I don't know, like when we change our limit or something, is that what you're talking about? But that's in the minutes, but.
Yeah, there is, and the treasurer usually submits it annually to the council, your financial guidelines and your collection procedures. They are supposed to be reviewed and submitted annually.
Oh, okay.
But it's usually the treasurer's function to do that.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
But it is good if you can get your hands on it and go ahead and upload it to the system and have it there digitally, and get into that best practice. That'd be good.
Okay.
So, and then meeting minutes, like I said, just to kind of get rid of paper records, but it also gives so Jennifer visits conferences a lot. Instead of she doesn't know for months what really goes on with 73 different conferences. She could go in there and read some of your past meeting minutes just to kind of get updated on what's happening with your conference. And, it gives the other people access to see the transparency and what's going on within your conference. It's just kind of nice to have it there. So let's go ahead and go into the documentation tab. The conference report and the bank statement, that's usually the treasurer's upload those, so don't worry about that. But you just go to add document, you can upload PDFs, Word documents, Excel sheets, whatever you want. So I just did a meeting PDF. When you name it, you'll want to name it something different each time. If you don't, it automatically overrides if something was named the same. So you at least want to use something to identify whether it's numbers or months or something like that. So here you can see we uploaded the document. Now I'm going to show you what happens when you upload a Word document. The Word document doesn't show up in the view pane. It actually gets downloaded. And then once it's uploaded into your repository, any member can go to the documentation tab and see these documents, which will be really helpful in the next screen. So when you go to do references, for example, you can add links as well, not just a document. So if you want to add a link to the member website, give them easy access when they're already in CMS, they can go and refer to the member website and find something there that they might use regularly without, going into a different browser tab. So it's really nice to upload links.
I'm in the references tab, but I don't see where it says to add anywhere.
No adding links.
We have two in there, but I don't know who put them there.
I'll have to check on yours then if you're not seeing where to
Well,
add.
they're good. I mean, but mine only has a back option for, for,
Okay.
it
We'll
doesn't
take
give me
a
an
look at yours.
option to add.
The pharmacy referral, I think, is a great one to add here because, while they're doing their casework, they can go directly to the pharmacy referral website. And then,
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay.
and like if you partner with other community organizations or something that you would, need their link, their website for, it's just a great one-stop shop to put things like that. And it's accessible by everybody in the conference. Record forms, you could do like a blank case record form there. I think there's also another area in CMS that has that, but if they like to print those out and bring them with them on a home visit, they can do that there. If you have member reimbursement forms that you have them fill out or anything like that as well. Any questions? Let's see, I think we're done. I'll stop sharing the screen for now. For those that knew how to do some of this already, what burning questions do you have, more advanced questions then that we might be able to help with? Does everybody on have the conference CMS administrator role assigned already where you're able to go in and do this? That's your first step if you don't.
Can people go in then and change their contact information online, or does it have to come through us doing it?
No, they can go to my profile and update, and we encourage you to encourage them to do that regularly, especially if they're moving or changing phone numbers or emails.
Okay, could you, I missed that understanding how to do that.
Oh,
Hey, Amanda, can I share what I do when I sign somebody up new, for in CMS? The email, I have a template email that I send out that tells them to please go in, and I put the directions on there right off the user guide, how to do it so that they'll actually do it,
oh, perfect.
Go in there and update their profile, verify everything.
Let me,
Jeannie, do you have that available that you could send that a copy to me?
Sure.
yeah, so when they first log in, Alice, right here under my profile, you just go in there and they can update it themselves here.
Okay.
That they would click edit first and change it. You can do it, but I would encourage.
Send me
It's
your
so much easier. That would be great.
Yeah. All right, so no, don't worry about the national database anymore. We really appreciate those that figured it all out and tried to keep it updated. But they have an import feature now, so we're going to export your list from CMS at the end of the year and import it over there.
And quarterly to the archdiocese.
And quarter, yeah. So I guess, I'm sorry, Jen, and we didn't talk about that before this. I guess maybe get into the habit more, not annual updates of your roster, do a quarterly.
Monthly.
Or monthly,
Yeah,
yeah.
just a
Monthly
monthly
would be
review.
best.
Yeah. And a lot of it doesn't change, right? But I mean, when you get a new member, go in and just take that opportunity to add that person, double check, make sure everybody's in there, make sure it's all current. You know, maybe have a regular email communication that goes out to ask everybody to update their records if they move or, you know, within your conference. But if you keep it updated monthly, then when we pull it quarterly to send to the Archdiocese, it's you know, already it's taken care of. It's nothing that you have to do.
Yeah. You maybe get in a routine of when you upload your meeting minutes, if you are the secretary doing the minutes, you're just updating the roster at the same time. Might be the way to do it. One of your many tasks.
I do have a question. I just remember what it was. When are people put on the email list for the Ozanam email and the regular emails y'all send out? Do I need to put them on that list? Or I don't know how they get on that so that they can start.
On the member website, there's 2 links that they can go in and subscribe to those mailing lists. So
I'm going to send it to you in the chat.
Okay, thanks.
I'd share that website with them upon them joining. And we will also use the CMS roster. We haven't determined, because we have to pull all 73 probably at the end of the year when we do it for national. We will also cross-reference that list with our mailing list just to make sure they're all in there as well.
Well, like the trainings, for
That's
instance.
annually. You want them on it, you know.
Okay. The training email that you sent out, Jennifer, I think it was you that sent it.
Mhm.
Do all the members get that, or is that just coming to officers or whatever?
Are you talking about formation and news, Kim? The formation and
ma'am.
news e-blast?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a great question. Thank you for asking, especially for people who are watching this recording. So the formation and news e-blast is it's a resurrected, used to be called, I think, formation, but now it's formation and news. It's an e-blast that goes out bi-weekly. It goes out on Mondays, usually in the afternoon, and it's going to be all things formation. Any save the date for upcoming opportunities like Spring to Life that's coming up March 25th, formation, spiritual retreats, any sort of Vincentian news. And then at the bottom, if you scroll to the bottom, it says other news, and that's going to be all the other departments here within the council office. And so you'll see items from the housing office. You'll see things coming in from Daryl about thrift stores, maybe something from finance about end of year reporting and closing your finances in CMS. So I encourage everyone, the link I'm going to send you in the chat is how you'll direct actually, you know what? I'm going to show you right here online. Amanda, do I have controls to be able to?
You should be able to share screen.
To
Yeah.
drive? Okay, just a second. Let me.
Right now, it's anybody who's on the mailing list at this point on the MailChimp mailing list, Kim.
That's right. And so what you need to understand is like how we get the MailChimp mailing list. So look here. So I'm going to type in SVDP Georgia. I'm going to go to the website. First, I have to minimize you all because you're my screen. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. SVDP. So you go to, oh, what is happening? It helps if you turn the keyboard so you can type.
You're still not.
I know.
What's going on? You're too
Okay.
fast on the computer.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. Thank you all for your patience. Okay, so here's the new website. And you'll go to this members, see members here, it highlights in orange. You click on members. This is when I say new website, this used to have little icons that you would click, and now it doesn't. It has more of like an accordion type resource. But along this toolbar here is formation, caseworker, CMS, leadership, and marketing. So you're free to click any one of those. I'm just doing a highline review of this right now to get additional resources and go even deeper into the member site. But from this landing page, scroll down, and it says right here, sign up for member updates. So when you go to this link and you sign up, it's Vincentian Member Communications Directory sign up. This is what you want. So this means that you're going to get everything that we send from our mail server, which is called MailChimp. But I would like to also highlight that if at any time you unsubscribe from something, you unsubscribe from everything sent by this system. So take care to maybe minimize it or just put it in a folder. But when you officially unsubscribe, you are taking yourself out of the rotation for all communication. Below this blue bar, you see newsletter. This will be, I believe this is also, Amanda, is this also the society page or is this just development? I think this is development. That's why Elizabeth explained it to me.
Right, it's both, but it takes this is more for the public, non-Vincentian members. to sign
Okay.
up for the newsletter, the public.
Okay. So just as Vincentians, to get the Formation and News e-blast, you want to make sure that you're signing up right here in this link. So I'm going to do this. And I'm going to cut and paste, or copy rather, copy this link, and I'm going to go into your chat and I'm going to drop it into the chat. Where's my toolbar? Here we go. Okay, Amanda, there you go. Stop sharing. All right, so that link's in the chat if you need it.
I think I'm just gonna send that out to everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And if you're
Just
not
make
getting
sure. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's the page, this page that I, I didn't click on the landing page. I clicked on the actual link to the form. Oh, yes, I did, because it says form and the address. So, if they're interested in getting more communication from us, they can register for the newsletter piece of it. But this is the one where the Formation and News e-blast that comes out. Oh, and let me try to think if I could direct you to that. Has everyone seen it? Comes in like a header that has like a green space at the top, kind of looks like the rolling hills of Ireland.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, Carl's shaking his head and everybody else's, their cameras are off. Okay. So if you have any other questions, you're welcome to email me. Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you.
So, question. So each individual member or volunteer would have to sign up for that.
That's right. Yeah, it's just like any e-newsletter.
Okay. And then, so. All right. And I'm just want a clarification on the national database now. So if a member or a new person joins in October, then they won't get into the national database for a full year. Because you're taking, the end of the year is September 30th. You said that's when you're uploading. And so is there any way that they can get added so they get that weekly newsletter that National sends out?
They have to sign up for that, Carl. That's another link.
Yeah, so there's just like you sign up for the Georgia one. And Jen, it used to be on the member website, the e-Gazette sign up link. We might.
I know, I just sent it to a Vincentian. I'm looking for the email so I can type it in for them.
Because also, Carl, I'm not sure when you get added to the national database, I don't know how often they're cross-referencing that list with their mailing list. And I don't think it's immediate.
Because it used to be, or at least I thought it used to be, that I think it was our previous secretary would go into the national database and add a new member. And then they would start getting all that stuff.
Mhm.
But now it seems like that's not what you do. Is that correct?
Correct. That you can have them sign up directly to get that e-Gazette without going into the national database. I think that's the faster way to do it anyhow, because I don't think I don't think it's immediately once you get into the national database that they pull that week, because it's weekly. I don't think they're pulling that list weekly.
So I guess I'll have to look at the net. Well, it comes out tonight.
I'll email you the link to all of it. And you can send it to your, to get the e-Gazette and to sign up for our newsletter. It's in an email that I sent yesterday.
Okay.
I'll
All
just
right.
forward it. I'll forward it to you. I'll forward it to Amanda so she can follow up with it.
It's what
I've created a to-do list for our new members that I give to them, and it has all those links on them. I just
Yeah.
created
Can
a
you
list
share
like you need
that?
to do.
Oh yeah, share
Sign up
that.
for
It's got
Virtue,
everything.
sign up for Osmond, when the next date is. Yeah, I just created I could share it. How could I share
Yeah.
that?
Well, send it to me and I'll make sure that we have it as a follow-up.
Okay.
That would be great.
Okay,
Yeah, thank
all
you.
right. You're
Yeah, a lot of
welcome.
times the CMS administrator role, you're also the new member coordinator, right? So this is all very helpful.
That's very helpful to our members, Susan.
That is.
Yeah, thank you, Alice.
All right. Well, great session. I'm glad to have seen some of these familiar faces today. Make sure, I'm just checking the chat, make sure we have everything answered. We're good.
Well, thanks, Amanda. Thanks for your time. Does anybody have anything just as a follow-up or housekeeping before we end? Amanda, you want to recap what you plan to send everyone, or do we know? Have we written it down?
I wrote down, I know I wrote down one note to ask John Pepe to ask Aguilar to add thrift store volunteers to the role list. And then we're gonna, we'll send out the links that you have in the chat, in the email. Is there anything else?
I guess Jean's going to be sending a massive list of the of her members. And so if you all have, I would say, what do you think, Amanda, more than 5 people to delete?
Yeah.
Because it's pretty cumbersome if you're doing it one by one. So if you have more than 5 to delete, maybe you send us. And the only thing I would say is if they're deleted from CMS, that means they could be deleted from another conference. So if they are, make sure that you're sending me people who are in fact deceased and not just that you need to remove from your conference. So if you're removing somebody that moved to a different conference, remove them manually. But if somebody's passed away and they need to be removed from CMS, then we can do that through Aguilar. Does that make sense, Amanda?
Yep.
I do have one more question. People who just kind of stop coming to meetings and there really aren't, maybe they'll occasionally take groceries or even maybe not that. I mean, at what point do we just leave them on the roster? I mean,
I would, you can switch them to associate, but also at the same time, make sure you're reaching out to them to make contact to encourage them to come back and be active or really get some clarity on what their perspective is on, their role in the conference.
should I
Is there a
leave
way
that
to make them inactive?
No, we only have associate and active. I mean, that defines an associate member, that they might do some
Yeah.
groceries here and there, and but I would be having coffee with them or something and trying
Okay.
to see where their head is at. Maybe it's just a time, and try to get them back in for sure.
Yeah.
Did you send us these slides?
Yes, the slides will be sent out.
Okay. Thank you.
Slides and the recording link will be available. Jen, we'll probably get that out later, right? It'll be on the website.
The
not in
recording, yes.
The recording,
Yeah, that'll be easy to take care of.
Amanda, another thing that I've used a lot, because, some things you don't do that often, rather than having to always call you, I finally learned to go to the user guide in CMS that, at the top, guys, that user guide is phenomenal.
It is.
You just click it and then you can go, I don't know if I have to go control file or not, but control F, but you can search for exactly what you're looking for. And it gives.
Here's what you're talking about.
Do what?
I'm going to show, I've shared my screen.
It's
Sorry,
so
Kim.
neat, especially in the beginning.
Can you all see this?
Yes.
Okay, so you can hover over the CMS support button and it gives you a small drop down, but in order to get where Kim's talking about, you actually go to the page, click on the words CMS support, and then you scroll down, click on user guide, and this is the resource. These are videos, papers, documents, written guides, and then you can search by topic.
Jennifer, also here, I'm using my iPad. It's in CMS.
Oh, through CMS.
Under the tab user guide. So like when I'm in CMS, I'm like, oh, how did I do that? I use it a lot still.
So
Hey,
that,
got to jump off. Jennifer, you got it.
oh yes, of course. Okay, yes.
All right,
Thank
good to
you,
see
yes.
everybody. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Amanda.
Amanda.
Bye.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, everyone.